And that's not safe. As I said earlier here in this conversation, that our personal growth is 5 words. Placing principles above our own personality. Our personality, not other personalities. And when I'm going to pretend these are my principles, like the list I have of loyalty, considerate, and all those other qualities I listed, and someone's getting angry with me, then because I'm holding to my principles, is what's important for me, and I'm going to pretend these are them, then guess what? They're not wanting me to make my decision based on my principles, but rather on their reaction to them. And guess what I'm doing? I'm placing their personality above my principles. And I'm to always place principles above personality. Did you get that? Did I say that too quickly? When someone's getting mad at me, they're wanting me to base my response on their reaction to my principles rather than adhering to them, my principles. Any comments on that?
So is that what my question is?
Yeah.
When someone has a different viewpoint than I have about something, my principles should come before their...
That's a good, I hear where you're going with that. I'll give you the nonviolent communication response to that.
Okay.
That if there's a conflict,
Yeah.
well then, what
My principles were different from theirs.
yes, right? And we might have to talk after this session
Okay.
too, but.
Because they're
but-
holding on with their...
Well, I'm gonna use a simple one, an innocuous one.
Okay.
I like Thai food now, okay? And I might be with someone who likes American food or Chinese, and I used to love Chinese, but I love Thai food now, okay? And we're always getting Chinese, or American, or Thai, and I want Thai food. So I'll just say, you know what, okay, this week we'll go and get Chinese food, but next week we'll go to Thai. There's the balance, right? But underneath all of that, this is what I'm saying. What can we do so that your need for X and my need for Y can both be met? Now that's fair, that's balance. Someone doesn't want to talk with me and I want to talk with them and I have an issue I need to deal with and they're too busy. I'm just now giving another concrete example. And I can say, okay, so what can we do so that your need for solitude right now and my need to communicate, what can we do so that that need can be met? Can we talk in 2 hours or can we talk tomorrow? We don't just have to surrender to, well, I don't want to talk right now. I have a need for balance, reciprocity, equality. I have a need for emotional ease, and I have a need for fairness. You see that? That's under the needs. These are some of the needs.
Reciprocity, what?
Equality,
No.
fairness. So what can I do so that your need, that you have your need your solitude, and I respect that, and my need that we need to talk, what can we do? How about if we talk tomorrow at 2 in the afternoon? Yes, sir.
But that's the principle in raising children. Because do you want to leave now, or do you want to leave in 10 minutes? Because usually the parent will say, we need to go now.
Right.
But you're giving some power to teaching
Yes.
the child that he has a choice too.
Thank you. Very good. I'm going on to the next page, and I'm going to have to just give you answers because I want us to go into the nonviolent communication. Number 2 is compassion is not accepting unacceptable behavior. We think compassion is that we give in, that we want to be forbearing, but it is not accepting unacceptable behavior. Second page.
Yeah.
Did I miss it? Maybe I didn't put it in here.
It's in the first
Number,
page.
is it in the first page?
First page.
Number 2, I'm sorry. Do you see it there? Compassion,
Is not being externally accepting.
well,
You're talking about above that.
Compassion
Compassion
is
is,
not accepting.
Oh,
could you put your
unacceptable.
codependency definition?
if I'm not
under that?
mistaken, that's 3A2.
Two, right, so.
3A2.
Okay.
Compassion is not.
3A2.
Accepting,
It's not accepting unacceptable behavior. It's not accepting unacceptable behavior. Because that is codependency. We're accepting unacceptable behavior. Are you ready for this? 5 words. These are principles that you might want to adhere to. We train people how to treat us. We train people how to treat us.
Where's that at?
No, this is for free, it's not on there. But this is the antidote. This is the antidote to accepting unacceptable, not accepting. We train people how to treat us. And are you ready for this? 5 words. We get what we tolerate.
We get what we tolerate.
We get what we
We
tolerate.
give what we
We
tolerate.
get,
But we get what we
we
tolerate.
get what we tolerate.
Makes sense.
another way somebody told me is no one can use you unless you give permission.
That's right.
So it could be passive, or
Yeah.
it could be active.
Yes, very good, thank you.
And repetition doesn't help.
All right, Codependency is surrendering our values and opinions because we fear the rejection of another. That's 2A, down below those. And number 3, it's not being externally referented. That's a word. Referented.
Referented.
Yeah, referented, not referenced. Referented. It's a word.
Where's the
Rented.
Referented. A referent is a reference point out there.
Right.
And to be referented is that I allow something else to determine my values. Someone else gets angry, then it triggers me. And I've lost my life of balance because it's all based on how they are. And I'm being externally referented. As opposed to, what's the alternative? What do I feel? What do I need? What behavior of mine that I need to work on? Then based on how they're reacting, that determines
And when did it
how I
occur?
react.
Because this is this current instant, but it's happened to you before. So
Yeah.
when did it first occur that you would make the decision to react the way you normally would react?
Because often we think compassion is, well, to just give in because we see that they're distraught. But often people can be manipulative. Often people have their issues that they have to work through. And we don't have it now with GPS, but a long time ago in old submarines, they used to have pinging for echolocation. You know what I'm talking about? And they could tell the old ping.
Whale.
Okay, back before GPS. Well, boundaries allow our children and our good friends to know what our values are. If we're just marshmallows, it really confuses them. Do you hear what I'm saying there? And so it's important for us to have our principles. Remember, personal growth is 5 words, placing principles above our personality. All right. So a realistic perspective is compassion is realizing that attitudes and behavior of those who cause us grief are emotionally fevered. We talked about that.
Fear?
That's 2B, that's B1. That's 3B1, and then 3B1, and then suffer as victims of a broken leg. You know, when someone's running a race and they're in great shape, and they can run it in 5.5 minutes, 6 minutes, regularly, and you see a guy in great shape and it's taking him a half hour, and you say, what's wrong with him? Until someone nudges you and tells you that his leg is broken in 3 places. Instead of criticizing him, you applaud every step he's taking. And when someone is mistreating me, it's just revealing to me that he has his leg broken somewhere. There are some issues that existed way before I came around. We don't take it personally. Oh, he has a broken leg. Does that make sense? That gives us compassion. All right. Sometimes, number 5, B5 there, I don't know why it has 5, but sometimes compassion means letting go of the relationship and moving on. Sometimes that's the most compassionate thing. There's a guy wanted to have compassion with his dog, and he was going to crop the dog's tail, so he thought it wouldn't hurt as much if he cut it in little pieces at a time. Instead of cutting out, that's not true, but sometimes you just have to cut it short then instead of gradually. Some relationships, they break off, they come back, they break off, and they just don't come to terms with the fact that it's not a healthy relationship.
It's not a relationship at all. It's a
When we-
dysfunctional situation.
When we have to be more than who we are in order to be loved, then that's saying that what we are isn't good enough. And our higher power, God, as we understand Him, will bring people into our lives who will love us as we are. And we won't have to jump through hoops. If we have to jump through hoops, it's what I just wrote here. Sometimes we have to bless that person and send them on their way. Because our higher power has someone for us. And when God gives them to us, our higher power, He gives them to us for free. And those people will have our back. Do you hear that? Sometimes the most compassionate thing is letting go. How about you? Charlie, any comments?
No, I agree. I let go of a lot of people.
And that's the most compassionate thing, it's that tail. You crop it once. Yes, sir.
So, because I'm that's where I am in life. I've had to let go of a lot of people, and there's one person that I'm still having a lot of trouble with letting go, because this has been a kind, we had kindnesses, we shared friendship, platonic friendship for quite some time. Matter of fact, the entirety of the 13 years that I was in
Yeah.
Kansas City, Missouri. I told the person I was moving here, they didn't believe me.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that I have dealt with some of my friends. They want to interpret me as being fickle and flighty and stuff like that sometimes. but yet you want to have a good time, and I'm sitting there like, I have the skill of observation, and I see what's going on in situations and settings just as well as other people do,
Yeah.
but they sometimes want to, I'm trying to think of, the word that I'm trying to figure, to discredit my giftedness.
Yeah. Who you are.
Yeah, and and call me stupid and this, that, and the other, and I'm looking
Right.
at them like, I've been knowing God for a good long while.
Yeah.
And discernment is something that's at work inside of my life just as well as everyone else's, and that's regardless of whether we're Christian or not. The gift comes without repentance. But, I let go people, but they don't want to go. What do you do when they don't want to go and they keep trying to come back and keep talking about forgiveness?
Right.
But it's you being set up to go back through the same craziness
Right.
all over again.
Boundaries, which I won't go into right now.
Okay.
But we have
You're
so much
setting a
time.
boundary on the boundary.
Right, I am. Thank you.
That's all.
So I wanted us to have some time where we can practice some of this nonviolent communication, and we can break up into groups of 2. And I'm going to give us a scenario so that we can use that, okay? And at that point, David, he can join us too, because we have, that'll complete having duos here. Is that okay if we can practice
Are
some
are
of
you
this?
gonna race through this at some point, or we're gonna
Well,
pass?
shall I just give you the answers? I'll just give you the answers.
That would help.
10 seconds
Okay,
to live.
okay.
C2.
C2?
Yeah, C2.
Andrea's song. C2.
Right
Oh,
about-
anger?
No,
They
Andrew's
are
song.
not.
Andrea's song.
Top of the page.
Top of the page. I'm lost.
Andrea's song, right here.
Is it
Oh,
God's?
Andrea's song.
Is it God's
Okay,
gift?
Andrea's song is that we bless a person and we send them on their way because they're not God's gift for us.
Right. Got it.
That's her song.
But number 2,
Okay? You know what, I'm lost where I am here.
No,
You're
that's
not.
not-
Okay.
that's
You're
summary.
not God's gift, answer.
What are you gonna do?
Okay.
You're not God's.
Above the,
Go from summary down.
here, okay? Okay, we bless those, one form of compassion is not taken personally. Number 4, we want to give compassion towards ourselves.
Wait, what's number 2?
Number 2, oh, how does it start? We
it
bless
involves
those,
an honest, sympathetic blank of the other, not condemnation.
uh-huh.
Acceptance?
Right here on the.
Yeah, I know. Mine came out printed differently than yours.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so,
Honest and sympathetic.
is it 3? Are we under 3? 2. We're on still number 2?
Summary number 2. Summary number 2.
Oh, okay, but is it Roman numeral number 2?
No,
No,
you're
roll
on the
number
next
3.
Okay,
It's at the top of the
Arabic,
page.
number 2.
Top of the
Then,
page,
where's your,
Just below Andrea's song.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
summary.
where's your?
I don't,
There's
I
4
guess I'm missing it here.
4 points under the summary.
Okay, it's an honest appraisal. It involves an honest appraisal. Okay.
Appraisal.
Uh-huh.
Right.
Honest
The next
appra-
one.
And then number 4 is we want to give compassion towards
What's number
ourselves.
3?
Number 3, one form of compassion is not taking it personally.
Perfect.
Not taking it personally. Thank you, I forgot to underline mine. Mine I had it underlined and highlighted, but I
We
didn't do
want to
that.
give number 4?
We want to give compassion towards ourselves.
Okay.
Compassion.
Mhm. That compassion involves an honest appraisal. That was number 1. So now we're down to number 4, yes?
Roman
Roman
numeral 4,
numeral
yes.
Yeah, we're in touch with our emotional dashboard, the red light of anger.
Yes.
How does anger help us? It lets us know that there's an unmet need. All negative emotions are a result of an unmet need. I repeated myself there. And then B is being filled with self-pity. In each of these scenarios, we can become trapped with our feelings.
Wait a minute, but the big what?
I don't, did I blank that out for you guys? No.
5. It
No.
says the big.
Okay, number 5, the big surprise.
Yeah.
Our emotional responses are learned, not innate.